how video games manipulate you.
From game companies lying in their trailers to colluding with journalists for perfect reviews, game studios have been getting away with manipulating us for over a decade. But companies used to be a lot more honest. How did we get here? Well, it all started back in the 80s and 90s with TV trailers. The game market had shifted from arcades to consoles, causing studios to start using TV ads to push their games. These became known as video game trailers. But most of these trailers looked a little different back then.
And get 5 complete Mario games standard.
Kirby. Think you can't get too much of a good thing? Try it, Kirby Superstar. It's full-blown Kirby.
Some 90s trailers were really good. Do you remember the original Smash Bros. Trailer?
Oh my god, I remember.
If this was the trailer for a new Smash Bros. Coming out now, I would be booking it to the closest GameStop. So even though it's funny to see these commercials now, they worked. But there was potential to do better, and Blizzard did just that. When the StarCraft trailer came out in 1998, it blew everyone away. The game looked more like a movie than a video game.
Dang.
The entire trailer was a cinematic. No kids jumping off walls, no neon colors, and what's even more crazy, there was no gameplay. It captivated people. You see, Blizzard learned something about trailers and marketing from the movie industry. Because when you saw this trailer, you wanted to play StarCraft, even though you had no idea what the actual game looked like.
I never played
you
StarCraft.
You felt the emotion in it, and you wanted to know more. So because of the movie-like trailer, the hype around this game was unreal. Fitch, the technical director, put it this way: "We were hoping to sell 100,000 copies. It turned out to be in the millions. But then something happened. Other companies saw StarCraft's success, and soon after, we started seeing more cinematic trailers.
Yeah.
Halo, GTA 3, Diablo 2. In the span of a few years, trailers went..."
It was like there was a golden era of not only games, but game trailers.
From a man in a Yoshi costume bashing Donkey Kong to beautiful cinematic trailers with story and depth. StarCraft's trailer reaction began the renaissance of video game marketing, and we can still see its marks on games today. In many ways, for the worse. You see, in the early 2000s, it felt like every game and their trailer was trying to out-hype the previous one.
Oh, dang.
And as we enter the 2010s, game trailers continued their upward trend of getting better, but games stagnated and somehow were getting worse. This downfall led gamers down the road of pessimism, all the way to the point of being labeled most skeptical audience. But what's funny about that title is that,
I mean, this also stems from like the saying where it's like if a new game comes out and a dev drops like a trailer for the game and there's no gameplay, it's like, generally speaking, that's like a bad trailer. Like no matter what happens on screen, for that reason alone, because like game devs are afraid to show their gameplay because they don't know how the audience is going to react. And if the reaction's bad, that initial thought is going to be left in the people's heads, and that's going to be their initial thought about that game. So in order to avoid that, they just throw up like a cinematic or like some pre-rendered stuff.
That they say gamers are skeptical, yet we still buy games in droves.
Oh yeah, we're super skeptical. Yep, skeptical about that battle pass, skeptical about that store, yet we still buy it. We are so skeptical.
Well, there's two reasons, but I'll start with the less terrifying one first. You see, the thing is, every industry, except the entertainment industry, market their products a certain way. You have a problem, here's a way to solve that problem. Need to hammer in a nail? Buy this amazing hammer.
Yeah.
Tired of getting holes in your boat? Buy some flex tape. Hungry? Buy a Snickers. You get it. But what's different about video games and the entertainment industry as a whole is that they aren't solving a specific problem, like leaky pipe.
Yeah, you are. You're solving boredom. You know? That's the problem. I'm bored. I need to be entertained. Entertain me.
Or snack cravings. So marketing a video game as a way to solve a problem doesn't work. Studios need to market off emotion. Why?
Yeah.
Well, people are very passionate about their entertainment. It's the reason why people can name the Kardashians, but don't know.
I still can't. I can name Kim Kardashian, and then I don't know the other ones.
Who was in the U.S. Civil War.
who fought in the Civil War.
No idea.
How many
That shit happened so long ago. I got no idea.
Kardashian sisters can you name?
Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, Kim Kardashian.
Ah,
People are more likely to watch or click on something that's entertaining and moves them emotionally than on something educational. It's the reason why almost no living soul watches C-SPAN, even though it's a channel showing Congress passing laws that can drastically affect our lives. But why do we care so much? How can video games...
it's because C-SPAN is completely devoid of like all emotion, and it's not meant to be entertaining. It's supposed to just be like the law, and that's it.
cause us to think so irrationally sometimes?
Bro, what if C-SPAN all of a sudden adopted some sort of like WWE like story, you know, between all the, like the senators and shit and like the representatives? It's like, oh my God, New York versus California. They're debating on passing this law. Find out on the next episode of C-SPAN. And then it drops like a guitar riff, like Dragon Ball Z style, you know? Bro, I would watch C-SPAN in a heartbeat. All these people are always over here talking about, oh, we need to get more young people into politics. We need to get more young people into politics. But then they don't want to change up how politics is displayed, you know, except in like the recent voting years or whatever. But whatever, let's keep going.
Sometimes. Well, I believe the truth lies in our own psychology. If we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 5 levels. And from descending order of importance, they are psychological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization.
Ooh.
Video games definitely can't and do not satisfy the bottom 2.
Yep.
However, I would argue that they can help satisfy one or all of the top 3.
Yep.
Think about it. Why do you play games? For many,
because I'm bored. That's it. Entertain me. That's it.
it's the community. It's where you have friends. It's where you spend time with family or loved ones. Video games help people bridge the gap to love and belonging. For others, it's self-esteem. Many people struggle with confidence. They aren't good at sports or academics and other things society often values, but they find that they are good at video games. So for many, playing games and excelling in them can help build confidence and self-esteem. Many more play games for self-actualization. Games can give the satisfaction of problem solving, like a puzzle game, or make you feel creative with a cool combo in a fighting game.
Also, unlike real life, solving problems in video games is more or less very linear. And it's like, if you put in X amount of effort, you will get X amount of reward. Whereas in real life, if you put in X amount of effort, it doesn't feel the same amount of reward. You know, like if you go to a job or whatever and you're getting paid like minimum wage and you're like, I don't know, you work at like a fast food joint, you're a janitor or whatever, or you're like a waitress, waiter, it doesn't really feel the same, like problem solving. I mean, like, yeah, you're making money, but yeah.
Or feel spontaneous when you run into a room without your crew support.
All right, thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Video games solve much deeper problems,
Yeah.
intangible human needs like belonging, self-esteem, or self-actualization, which is why game studios market based on pure emotion, and it's why it can be so dangerous. Bringing me to reason number 2. In the past 20 years, the biggest strides in innovation have been around hacking human behavior, specifically for persuading people to watch
I would
or
agree.
buy things. Take a second and think about what's the most prominent businesses of the 21st century. Well, they're FANG. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google.
Mhm.
Well, I guess Mang now since Facebook became Meta, but
Yeah.
these 5 companies combined are worth...
Yeah, all the social medias where they're pretty much designed to show you things that you will more likely interact with as opposed to things that you like and you will just scroll by, you know? Things that make you angry, it's more likely to show up or whatever. And I don't know, maybe it's changing. So yeah.
worth $5 trillion. Trillion with a T. And what is the goal of most of these companies? Well, 3 of the main companies' primary focus is persuading people to buy things: Google, Meta, and Amazon, with Google and Meta's entire focus on manipulating and persuading you to buy things with ads. I mean, these companies are so good that many times they know what you need before you do. My favorite example of this was when Target figured out a teen girl was pregnant before her father did.
How did Target know that this teen was pregnant?
The story is that an angry man went into a Target outside of Minneapolis, furious that his daughter was receiving coupons for baby clothes and a crib. He felt that Target's advertising was trying to encourage his daughter to have a baby. A few days after the confrontation, the Target employee called the father to apologize for the incident, only to hear the father bashfully admit that he had talked to his daughter about the situation, and he learned that she actually was pregnant. Target knew more about this man's daughter than he did.
Bro, that is crazy. How long ago did this happen? And on Fox, no less. Bro. And this is just like one story of this happening. I wonder how many like other stories like this happened.
You can learn to predict what people are going to do.
And Target probably had this data because of Google or Meta. This isn't even marketing or manipulation anymore. This is psychology. That's what happens when the smartest people in the world end up employed to get people to buy more things. These companies know more about you and your loved ones than you could ever possibly know. They have quantified your habits and behavior to a point that they can even predict the products you will buy in the future, including video games. Which is why video game studios market their games the way they do. They lie and they deceive because they know it works. The marketing and trailers they use hack the human brain. They hack our emotions by telling us the game will help us find a community or be confident through success, or that we'll get the dopamine hit by solving a puzzle or outthinking an opponent.
I tried to sneak through the door, man. Can't make it. Can't make it. Stuck. Out of my way, son. Door stuck. Door stuck.
The marketing knows how to manipulate perfectly. Now, I've painted marketing pretty poorly so far, and I want everyone to understand that marketing can do a lot of good if done ethically. Remember, people bought StarCraft and loved it, and the trailer drove people to buy a great game. So marketing done right can be a good thing. I mean, I do it.
Oh my god, what is this? Is this really how it happened? Because, god dang. This is so sad if this is... Oh god, it actually does look like it happened like this. Oh man. Yeah, I still haven't played Cyberpunk.
Thumbnail I used got you to click on this video. It was made a certain way to get people to click. However, the difference between Cyberpunk's trailer and Going Indie's thumbnails or StarCraft's trailer is we fulfill the promises we give, or get as close as possible to it, where Cyberpunk gave literal promises that it didn't fulfill.
You know what that's like? It reminds me of like those commercials with like the good ass looking cheeseburgers and steaks, knowing full well that that food right there in that instant is probably like the fakest, most produced food. Like it's not even like food, it's like glue and like just yellow paint and whatever, and like melted plastic or whatever, just to make it look like an actual cheeseburger. Whereas when you go to like McDonald's, it's like the burger's like all smushed and it's like super flat. There's like nothing on it. It's void of all ingredients.
Knowingly deceiving its audience with a broken and unfinished game. And they did it knowingly because CD Projekt Red didn't say a thing about the missing features shown in the trailers when Cyberpunk released. I don't doubt CD Projekt wanted those features they promised in the trailers, but when they realized that they weren't going to fulfill their promises, they should have pulled the previous trailers and released a new one showing what the game would actually look like. So why didn't they? Why do studios like CD Projekt Red, EA, and others outright lie? Because they are incentivized to lie. Look at Cyberpunk. The game helped CD Projekt make more money than ever before. Studios don't need to nail their game. They just need to manipulate you and nail their marketing to be successful. So
I want to say this. You know, it's not like there's an infinite amount of people that will just constantly come in and out of gaming, you know? There's about, 7 billion people on planet Earth or whatever. You know, the resource is limited. But You know, it's like if you're gonna be like a company like EA or Activision or what have you, there's only so many times where you can pull a fast one on someone that just plays games. All right, you know, and granted, that audience is getting older and older. You know, yeah, you may fall in and out of it or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. You know, maybe I'm not like the casual gamer. Maybe I'm not the target audience anymore.
It doesn't matter if the game's completed. All that matters is you nail the marketing and you will rake in the dough. This incentive is also why a lot of people don't trust corporatized gaming reviewers like IGN. You see, IGN and others like them.
Every game, a bad score is a 7, a good score is a 9. It's only 7, 8, 9. That's the only numbers that exist. Seldom is there ever a 10. 7 is average.
Work with companies like CD Projekt Red to make sure their games get positive reviews, even when the game is garbage.
At the same time, it's padded out with meaningless errands that make getting to those strong character moments a painstaking gauntlet.
It has a little something for everyone.
It's not like an under-the-table bribery sort of thing. These companies aren't doing anything illegal. But there's an unspoken trade between game studios and reviewers. Reviewers promise good reviews, which studios want, if the studios will give them access to the games before release in return, which, of course, reviewers want. Because just like the news, the first ones to break the story get the most views, and whoever gets the most views gets the most money.
This has been true for many years, but again, like what I was saying before with companies pulling a fast one on gamers, it's like maybe it's like concentric circles, you know, like there's the big one and then there's the one inside and then the one inside or whatever. It's like eventually after you've just been gaming a long time, you just start to realize like who give the good reviews and who give the bad reviews, you know? Like he used IGN as an example. 9, 9, 9. There's a 9. This game's a 9, you know? It's like how many 9s you going to give out? You know? Is every game that comes out, even if it's dog shit, is it just auto get a 9? Why would I trust you as a reviewer? You know? Like, win me over again. You know? That's why there's so... what do I say? There's so many, like, individuals just, like, over the, you know, the internet or whatever. Like, individual, like, people, channels, like, groups, whatever. That they do their own reviews. And that's, you know, after they beat the whole game in its entirety. You know, not just like, I don't know, 10 to 15 hours that they just rush through the game. They do it on easy. They hardly know what they're doing, the mechanics. They just got to get to the end so they can be like, okay, I reviewed it, 9. Versus someone that took a little bit longer, played through the entirety of the game, got decent at it, you know. Maybe they played it on normal instead of easy. And then you trust that person's review. Like, whose review would you trust more? Someone that like just flew through it on easy, or someone that played through it like through like, I don't know, 50 hours on normal? What reviewer or review thing would you trust more?
So if companies know exactly how to get you to buy with trailers and reviewers, and we know that they are incentivized to lie because they can...
And granted, I'm not saying that like I'm some sort of like high road saint where it's like I don't trust these companies, I don't trust these like reviewers and so on and so forth. I've been manipulated throughout my entire life by these same exact companies and reviewers. So it's only now that I'm like older that you just start to see through the bullshit. So that's all I'm saying.
Still make money with an unfinished game. Why then are studios allowed to lie? Shouldn't there be some sort of lawsuit? How do they get away with this? Well, currently there is a lawsuit against lying in trailers. The movie Yesterday featured a prominent actor, Ana de Armas, in its trailer, but she didn't appear in the movie due to story changes. So 2 individuals who rented the movie because of Ana de Armas are suing Universal for misleading them. The outcome of this court case will be interesting, because if the plaintiffs, the 2 individuals suing, win the case, the outcome will drastically affect all forms of trailers, including game trailers. But I doubt they'll win, because trailers are heavily protected under what's called the Lanham Act as a form of advertising. And trailers are protected because it's the job of the plaintiff to prove a statement or clip in a trailer was literally false, or likely to mislead the majority of viewers. But there's 2 problems with this. Number 1, the burden of proof falls on the plaintiff, meaning the person suing needs to have irrefutable evidence of false advertising and injury, which is incredibly difficult. And number 2, you have to prove that it's not puffery. You see, companies...
What the fuck is this? Is actually a word. Okay. Puffery is generally described as an exaggerated, blustering, or a boasting statement or a general claim that can only be understood as an expression of opinion, not a statement of fact. Okay.
Are allowed to make statements that are puffery, such as Disneyland,
Happiest place on earth.
or BMW, the ultimate driving machine, or that dinky coffee shop in New York saying it has the world's best cup of coffee.
Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee.
And they can make these statements because according to the Lanham Act, puffery statements like world's best cup of coffee are so exaggerated that reasonable people would never believe them to be true. This applies to all forms of advertising, including trailers. So when Cyberpunk's trailer...
I wonder if there's ever been like a restaurant that put like a bunch of other qualifiers in front of it, like literally, actually, realistically, the best cup of coffee in history of all time, for real. For real, 100%, no cap. And that's the tagline for the Canoe cup of coffee. Just take that exaggeration and just blow it up.
Trailer shows a living, breathing world with 24-hour day cycles, that's fine, even though it's not in the game, because the clips aren't literally false. They are showing aspects of the game in a more exciting, puffery way. But just in case, slap not real gameplay and you're good to go. So game companies can lie about their games all they want and are incentivized to mislead because of sales, human psychology, and the law.
And even, let me go back. And even this, like, you can't even fucking see it. So even this down here, they don't even have to show this in this font this clearly. It can be like some tiny, little, insignificant, almost gray or perhaps even black, dark gray wording somewhere at like the bottom left, the bottom right, top left, top right corner of your screen. That just blends in. You would never notice it, and they can say, "Oh, it was on the screen. Did you see it right there? Yep, it's in black font. It's really tiny. It's in like font number 4 or whatever. It's really tiny, but it's on the screen. It's not my fault. You can't read it. They'll do some shady shit like that because I've seen it. All right. Okay.
Slap not real gameplay and you're good to go. So game companies can lie about their games all they want and are incentivized to mislead because of sales, human psychology, and the law. So what do we do then?
The law.
It feels frustrating as hell to know that. Well, there is a positive in all this. With the growth of the internet, there has been a change in how people buy things. According to the book, To Sell Is Human, before the internet, it was buyer beware. When you went to purchase a game, you had no idea if a game like Tongue of the Fat Man was good or not. You only had a small circle of people to talk to, and they probably never played Tongue of the Fat Man.
Yeah.
But with endless information at our fingertips, it's now seller beware. We know more about the products we buy than we ever thought possible 25 years ago. Which brings me to my final piece. Be authentic. You see, being authentic is the best way to be successful long-term as any company. One of my favorite examples of authenticity is Untitled Goose Game. I mean, I love this trailer because it shows just how fun this game is. Even the title is awesome.
I need to play this fucking game.
Creators knew they had a great game, and they really leaned into being genuine. No cinematics, just good, fun gameplay. Nintendo is another example of being authentic, but at a massive level. Yes, Nintendo has some problems, many
Yeah.
of which I feature in my Nintendo Hate Smash video. But Nintendo, more than any other game company, strives to be authentic and honest. There's no trickery behind their marketing, because they know it takes years to build trust, but only seconds to lose it.
Yep.
If they ever have a cinematic trailer, they follow it up with a gameplay trailer. If they fluff up a feature, they show how it works. Nintendo strives to be genuine first and foremost, because they understand that to succeed long term, you need to be trusted by your customers.
Nintendo does a lot of these things like really, really well. I'm kind of sad that I'm not into like Nintendo games more than I am right now. I really need to like go back and give Nintendo a shot or whatever.
So although it's disappointing to see so many companies adopt manipulative marketing practices, there are many studios, big and small, that are authentic. And I would hope that we try celebrating the good studios as much as we criticize the bad,
Yeah.
including me. Which brings me to our indie game highlight of the video. This week, our community picked Night Shift Survival, a simple but fun roguelite action game with the objective to survive the night shift at the mall. Night Shift Survival's gameplay feels like the combination of The Binding of Isaac and Vampire Survivors, and the game was made by some of our very own community known as Nebula Devs. Go support them and their new game Night Shift Survivals on itch.io. And if you want to get your game or one of your favorite indie games highlighted in our next video, come join our Discord and let us know what game we should feature next.
This was actually nice. I like this video. Like, I kind of already knew like a lot of these companies and like reviewers did this type of stuff. But this was just like a nice little tie-in together of like everything. Yeah. I mean, a game developer or publisher has no reason to tell you anything besides what they want you to hear about their game. And that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah. Let's see, what's this? From the day I started gaming as a kid, all I did is buy pirated games. In my country, it cost like $2. As I grew up and became a teenager, I started pirating. Yep. Yeah, I was too stupid as like a little kid to like realize that I could just pirate games or whatever. When I graduated, I felt that scamming these companies is not fair. I started buying games based on hype. It took 3 years for me to completely lose faith in the AAA companies. Oh my god. I gradually started losing the appetite to game. I thought it was because I was getting older, but after watching this, I knew it had something to do with the feeling of me getting scammed. Sad world we live in. It feels like mental slavery. Yeah. I mean, but that's not, again, it's not like every game though. It's like, yes, there are like a lot of games that do it like that in like a conniving way or whatever, in a deceiving way, but like there's also a lot of games, and like, you know, just take like Nintendo. That's like an entire game developer of games, you know, and even in like the Western like part of the world or whatever, it's like there's still a lot of games that, you know, put forth like an authentic type of trailer or whatever. So it's not all doom and gloom. Just sometimes, you know, you tend to highlight the negative more than the positive sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I thought this video was good. Definitely want to see more. All right, that's about it. See ya.